Okay, I'm going to ramble on about the new Blur song, which is called The Narcissist. I'm a big Blur fan, have been since a while ago. Yeah, so I kind of always follow what they do, as a Blur fan does. And the last time I kind of was interested in their music was the last record, which was 8 years ago now, which just seems bananas that it's such a long time ago. That was the album that was kind of cobbled together from a 2-week recording session, really, like unpredicted recording session. So it wasn't really the band getting together to make an album and a statement. It was sort of thrown together, and then Damon wrote songs over the pieces that Graham Coxon and Stephen Street had kind of compiled. And anyway, that was a great record, very different, more experimental, kind of lacked a little bit of the Blur thing, I think. Blur do have some signature things that they have in their music, which I'm going to talk about in The Narcissist, which is their new single after 8 years. And I'm going to go and see them live at Wembley in July. And I was thinking that was just going to be this big celebration of their back catalogue. And, you know, whenever you go and see Blur live, it's literally like you realise actually that they've got back-to-back sing-along songs, but they can also go deep into their repertoire, their deep cuts of their albums. And they're all just brilliant compositions, and they've all got something unique about them. What they're doing at the moment is that they're touring the country around smaller venues to kind of, I guess, warm up and get their playing chops back together, and they're just having a great time. I was watching some of the footage of them playing in at Eastbourne, and they just look like they're just enjoying it and just like laughing. And yeah, they're pulling out songs they've never played live. When I saw them play at the Olympics in 2012, they played an old B-side, Young and Lovely, and it was it's like an anthem, and it's like, wow, they've got these songs in their back pocket that aren't, they're not the popular songs that people know, but they are just amazing. Anyway, they've just dropped a new single, and it feels, it's been stuck in my head since I first heard it. I've been listening to it over and over again, and it's kind of just it's kind of inspired me to look at like the structure of it and talk about why I like it and why I think it's classic Blur. It's called The Narcissist. It's actually got a few signature Blur moves about it, and one of those things is the kind of the tempo and the feel, which I guess is, that's what they have. They've got Graham, they've got Dave and Alex, who are like this fantastic bass and drum combo. But really that sound of dun, 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 like very kind of like on the bar line, ba, 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 and with Damon kind of playing around. And it's got some lovely guitar work from Graham in it. So yeah, this is the intro. And I watched a video of them playing it live, and Damon's playing electric guitar too, so he's doing the rhythm guitar parts on it.
Looked in the mirror, so many people standing there. I walked towards them into the floodlight.
So the vocal melody, the first thing that strikes me about it is it's we know where home is on this song. So we know that this chord, the E chord, that's always going to be where the root, the home. And what it's choosing to do is doing like an ostinato where the da 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 da, then da 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 da. So the chord changes. I haven't learned this song yet. I'm just blagging it. Da 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 da. And that we know where home is, back to home. So that's the nice thing. We know this song's always going to have that going back to the roots. It's a verse, then a break, so to let the song get established. So arrangement-wise, it's really nice. So you get that intro,
so many people
and then
standing there. I walk towards them into the floodlight.
then a space. Drums develop, claps come in, bass comes in. The bass that Alex James is playing, the notes they're actually kind of changing the meaning of those guitar chords.
There was distortion.
Bow, bow. What you thought originally was one chord with a little note change is now actually 2 chords because the bass is beautiful backing vocals coming in from Graham.
I felt Roberto standing there.
We're home again. Another little break. The drums are the next level now. So by the time you get to the sort of next section where the drums come in full, the drum groove is in full flow, we're still in the verse structure. It's got restraint, this arrangement, basically, I feel. Holding back the chorus, letting the verse establish the song, and it's sort of this simple motif. And another signature thing about Blur is musical motifs. They have in Graham's guitar playing a lot of the time, these little motifs that become like mini little parts of the song. Damien's genius is to have vocal motifs that make the melodies, and it's just part of their sound. The first time we get the change of the chorus is where the drums change, so it lifts into the chorus. It's a beautiful idea, you know, let's just take it to the chorus, you know. A chorus just needs a lyrical concept, I find. I'm not a big lyrical guy, but the opening line of a chorus is just so important. And I'm gonna shine a light in your eyes. I mean, it's just a line, isn't it? And it's the first time, again, the vocal's been down in a medium register, quite a low register actually for the verses. And this is the first time it's lifting up to the next register for the chorus. You probably shot it back on me, but I won't fall this time. With God's speed, there's so much going on that's brilliant about it, really. So it's doing a half bar, you know, everything's going on 2 bars. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Beauty of pop songwriting is a good balance of recognisable and repetitive, but also with surprises and unexpected things happening. So that's where another thing Blur do a lot. They'll go to weird chords, or they'll do half bars, or they'll do strange lengths of verses and stuff. They've done it in lots of their songs. So this is another good example of, you know, you expect it to probably be 2 bars, and then that's the repetition coming in. I don't know what the words are, but then you've got the call and answer between the guitar and the guitar chord and the vocals. So I love this. I won't fall this time with God's speed. Back to the verse, back to the break, and then we've got this great counter melody coming in. So really, up to this point, you know, we've had like this beautiful development of the song. First chorus lifts up, the guitars open up, and then we're back to the next verse. Back to the groove. Next part of the story, he's describing a scene. He saw the solstice, he took acid. Station on the road, I took the acid under the white horses. My heart quicker. So this is a fairly standard length verse with no space, you know, it's just going round the normal verse. I could not tear myself away. Nice drum, simple little drum fill actually. Dave Roundtree's drums are some of my favourite drumming. He just keeps everything so simple, but so right. Like, listen to these drums. No snare drum, it's just that look away. He does a little drum accent on the look away. And James Ford produced this. He's a genius producer, done lots of Arctic Monkeys stuff and various other amazing music. His sense of atmosphere, if you listen on headphones and good speakers, you can get this extra, there's a lot of depth coming in, lots of subtle synths and things you can't quite tell what they are, but sonic texture that's going on, and really interesting kind of more ambient, trippy guitar, but just doing simple things. You know, Graham Coxon's holding back on this song. This is really more of an open melodic type of thing. So he's doing these little simple lines and things here and there. And the guitars have got that a little bit bigger. There's a slight more dirt on them. So there's a gear up in terms of the production, and it feels like the whole thing's like a little bit louder. Maybe it is. And now we've got the big chorus, and you've got the backing vocals. Graham's, you know, it's going to be amazing live. I've already watched a video of them playing it live, and it's just like, yeah, it's great. it's been stuck in my head. I mean, I only heard it like once or twice, and it was there, like. Da, 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 da. I haven't even talked about the vocal melodies, really, like the melodies. So we know where home is. We know that it's like on the E. Da, 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 da. But he's choosing, kind of picking on some less common phrases, but it's always kind of coming back to the third, which is a nice, wholesome interval, you know. Da, 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 da. And the ostinato means that that same melody, now it's on an A. He's leaving a space at the beginning of the chorus, so the chorus is being driven, he's not coming in on the one, he's like... Quite a lot of space. So there's a lot of space in there, and because the song is quite a driving song, kind of almost like krautrock type beat. The space is nice. It's kind of, it's almost like it could be a halftime song. And I know that sometimes Damon writes songs halftime, and then they end up getting split up. Like even song 2 was written as a slow song, but then Graham was like, nah, let's play it fast. Listen to where it's got sonically. Then we get a bit of the dirty, naughty Blur. They don't resolve it. So that whole point I was kind of making about the fact that it's got this home chord. The last chunk of the song, they really make you wait for that final home. It's all the noise. Finally. You finally get it. But that's how it ends, and if you listen to how it starts, and if it's got that level of energy compared to the intro. I haven't turned it down, but this is the intro volume. And this is the final chorus. That's how loud the vocal is. This is how loud it is at the beginning. So this song has been produced and mixed with a volume increase. It's probably something where it's been mixed to just bring you in, and I did notice that the second verse or the second chorus, the vocal really does pop out. It's got some effects applied to it, some delays, but I know James Ford does a lot of processing of sounds, and doesn't necessarily keep everything sort of in a safe, nice place, which is why I love it so much. That's how I like to make records too. Don't keep things safe and obvious and tidy. Allow things to be a little bit messy and interesting. And that vocal that sometimes feels a bit too loud, and then it gets buried, so it's moving. It's not this static, cleverly compressed, like always upfront vocal. So that's The Narcissist by Blur. I love it. It's had nearly 1 million plays since it came out, and they announced a new record, which is super exciting. They're going to be like firing on all stadium cylinders when I see them live in July. Cool. Anyway, nice one, Blur. Thank you.